Welcome to Library Grindhouse. The only ticket you need is your library card. I'm Jesse.
And I'm Leah, and today we'll be reviewing the 1974 Christmas movie, Black Christmas.
Word. All right, well, this is directed by Bob Clark, who would go on to direct A Christmas Story. I mean, talk about things that'll make you go,
what?
I mean, that's pretty wild to go from this movie to Ralphie. I don't know.
I have no clue what you're talking about because I've never seen A Christmas Story. Womp womp.
Wait.
I had also never seen Black Christmas before, but we can check that one off the
But not even
list now.
2006 or 2019? Since
No.
there are 3 of these movies?
I have never seen any of them.
I've never seen any of them either. But Christmas Story, I liked it before I was cool. It was cool, okay? I was never cool, don't get me wrong. But yeah, I liked that movie before it was cool to like it. I had to buy like the Gene Shepard book, In God We Trust, All Others Pay Cash, so I could read the novella or whatever that was turned into the movie. I had to know all of it. And that movie's legit awesome, Leah.
The only thing I know about it is a kid gets his tongue stuck on a pole and the leg lamp.
You have to say leg lamp question mark?
I don't know.
This is amazing. Breaking news.
You can put a banner scrolling down at the bottom. Breaking news.
Why didn't you mention that as surprising movies you hadn't seen, like when we were talking about that?
I don't know. I just never think about it, which is funny because I know it runs on TBS, like
That's
what,
not
all
the
of
way to
Christmas.
see it.
Or
Don't see it that
well,
way.
whenever I like come in, it's halfway through, and people are like, "No, you can't watch it. You have to watch it all the way through." So then I'm just like, "Well, I'll just never watch it, I guess."
So now, one of the first things I noticed in the credits is a name, John Saxon, #legend. He's the best. I mean, he's a cop in just about everything. Well, Nightmare on Elm Street. But you wouldn't know that, right? Because you have not seen Nightmare on Elm Street.
I have seen it.
You have seen that
I
one.
watched it.
So you have seen John Saxon.
I watched it recently this Halloween.
Okay. Awesome. So you've at least seen John Saxon in that role.
Which I'm happy that you brought that up because I was seriously wondering, I know this guy. I know this guy.
And there you go. Now you know why. Yeah, legendary John Saxon. And someone's lurking around a house. We have a disconcerting use of the handheld camera and heavy breathing. So very obviously Halloween style opening.
When I watched that, I was like, was the 70s just everyone used heavy breathing? Everyone. It's just like heavy breathing is supposed to signify evil. Like.
Yeah, watch out, asthmatics. I mean, we have one in the movie though, and it's not the lurking guy.
No.
How crazy is that? But we'll get there. So Christmas party's happening, and we've got Barb, Superman's Margot Kidder, Lois Lane. What's she doing here? Granted, this is before that, 4 years before that, but she gets a long-distance phone call handed to her by a very British Olivia Hussey of Romeo and Juliet fame.
Oh man, you're spraying all these out, and I did not know that. But now that you're saying them, I'm like, click. It all falls into place again.
I mean, I just was like, this is star-studded, like right here. I'm just like, how is this a low-budget
It was pre-all of the day, wasn't it?
Well, Hussey
except
was
for
in
Hussey.
Romeo and Juliet. Yeah, it was in,
when she was like
68.
14 or so. Yeah.
Yeah, which that's just like, whoa.
Yes.
I mean, talk about things that make you go,
What?
I mean, when you're in high school sophomore year, it's playing that, and it's just like, I'm in school. I'm embarrassed to see this and my teacher in the room. Like, I guess some teachers do either like edit it out or fast forward or something.
We watched it, and just no one made any eye contact with the teacher for the rest of the day. Looking anywhere but at them.
Was that okay? So the lurker breaks into the house's attic. Well, doesn't really break in so much as opens the window.
Which is another reason why. Make sure to lock your windows.
Now, I'm getting ahead of myself, but the house's doors and locks are unlike any I've ever seen. Like, there's one door that's locked from the outside?
I saw that. I don't know.
I wasn't around in the 70s for the locks. I know that's surprising because I'm old, but I was not around for 70s locks. I mean, did you have to click something on the outside and then lock it on the inside? Like, I know some like old stuff has like tricks or something, but anyway. So the use of the wide-angle lens for the lurker's perspective has a nice fisheye effect.
I agree.
A little bit. That was a little bit off-putting. It's subtle enough to be disconcerting, but not enough that it was like annoying or like Hot Shots level fisheye.
Yeah.
Like the walleye lens or whatever.
Yeah. Where it gives everything that like globish.
Exactly.
Just too much of a. Yeah.
Right. Yeah. So it was actually pretty effective there. The call is from Barb's mom, right?
Mm-hmm.
And Barb does not seem happy about it, so she ends the party, sends the boys home.
Well, I feel like it makes Barb's character a little bit more relatable straight from the beginning, because obviously she's disappointed that her family just pretty much doesn't want anything to do with her on Christmas.
Okay.
They're like, I'm just gonna, do my thing, you do your thing. So as we progress through the movie and we see all of Barb's issues,
Right.
I think it makes sense. Like for the past couple of days. I mean, it doesn't make sense, but
Yeah, I just didn't get a vibe of like what that was about or what why she was upset about it.
I thought it was her mom saying like they're not going to do anything
Don't
for
bother
Christmas.
coming home,
Yeah,
or,
like don't bother. We're going to be somewhere
Okay.
else. You just stay there.
That was something I totally missed, and I just didn't have time to go back and try to figure it out. So okay, that makes more sense. Hussey gets the next phone call, and it's someone they've dubbed the Moaner, or as I'm gonna call him the Lurker.
I was going to say, is there any way we could get like the way how she says it, the way how Phyllis said, like, it's the Mona. Like she does it in
Hussey
this.
would be with the British accent.
I thought Phyllis said it.
Oh.
Maybe, I don't know who,
I feel
because she had a very
I
Boston
feel like Phil would
accent.
be like the Mona.
Yeah, and I
Okay.
heard it and I was just like, bah, I don't know why. The accent got me, and
Hey, quiet! It's him again! The Mona!
I don't know.
The Mona's awesome. It's wicked awesome.
And
I
then,
don't know what I'm doing there. Sorry.
so when he calls them, are there pig snorts?
I mean, this dude is Michael Winslow level, sound effect, voice changing, it's crazy.
That was very creepy, because the first time that you hear the phone call and you hear him, it's
Oh, there's some of the wettest, nastiest,
yeah.
what am I hearing? I don't want to know what I'm hearing.
I have no clue. It's very explicit. I mean, very explicit. And
Even before he starts talking dirty stuff, it's just
it's like the
sounds
noise
is
and
just-
everything. It's strange. And then it ends with,
I'm going to kill you.
in just the most monotone, matter of fact.
Spoiler alert. I mean, geez.
Within the first 5 minutes, come on.
Yeah, no. So then Mrs. Mack shows up. Man, I love Mrs. Mack. She's amazing. I mean, I imagine if you're in a sorority, this is the type of house mother you'd want.
Exactly. I did not catch her name until
No, I
towards
know.
the
That's why I
end.
said woman shows up.
I
with
just kept calling her
presents.
house mother. But towards the end, that's when I caught it. But I was cracking up laughing with her alcohol hiding spots.
Oh, we'll get there. I've got lots of notes. I've got lots of notes on the. She's got issues.
Oh, man.
Yeah. So Lurker's hiding behind some plastic in the closet, and the girl Claire is a total moron.
Why would you just constantly?
Claude? Is that you, Puss? Kitty? Who is that?
Who's back there?
Claude.
Claude? Who is that?
Claude?
Claude.
Claude?
Claude.
Which you-
100 times.
You would
100 times
think,
at
because
least.
Claude is the cat, so you'd think that you would hear any sort of meowing
Well, she
or
does. They do.
ruffling.
She does hear meowing, but it's just like, who's there, Claude? Who's there, Claude? I mean, just what are you doing?
I don't know. And then it was just death by dry cleaner bag. I'm pretty sure
Not a
that's
nice
what
way
it
to
was.
go. I
No.
mean, yeah, that's I remember the first time I saw a plastic bag strangulation scene was in Clint Eastwood's In the Line of Fire.
Ooh.
It was just gnarly. I mean, just the way the bag goes sucked into the mouth.
Well,
You don't
that's-
even see it in this movie until she's
It-
dead.
yeah, yeah.
But just seeing that is just so disconcerting. It's very effective. I can understand why they showed it 100 times. So that's their money shot of just oh my gosh.
Which I was surprised that they did not show. I mean, they showed a little bit of the struggle, which wasn't even a show. It's
That's
just
a
more
hard
you
thing to shoot
heard it.
without actually putting a bag over someone's head.
Exactly.
And having them, go through that. So I can see
So-
why they didn't.
But yeah, and I'll go through some more of my thoughts on this too, because I thought this movie did a lot of things. I know this is going to sound weird, but in a very classy way. For instance, they're in a sorority house and there's no nudity, like you would think in a horror film for it
There's
being
the,
taken
the
place in a
poster of the peace sign with
yeah,
the dude's butt.
yeah, but you
It's
would
the dude's
think
butt.
you think that there'd be more, given that it's in a sorority house, and it was the
Kidder is
70s.
looking at Barb's looking at Centerfold.
Yes,
for some reason.
yes, which I
she
think
don't
that's
look-
just her. She's just funny.
She's awesome.
Yeah,
I
she's
love Barb.
great.
Yeah, I love
But-
all these ones. These ones are great.
And then there's not a lot of gore, but it still kind of has like literally the Mona is like the most explicit part.
True. Yeah, the way it calls on the phone.
The caller, yeah.
Which he's really, excuse me, dirty and vulgar. Really, that first one, and maybe a couple other times.
Yeah.
But even then, it just the calls change. Let's put it that way. The calls change. So yeah, the lurker moves by the attic. Now Mrs. Mack is a naughty little minx who has booze hidden in a book. She's a grown woman, but I guess there must be no alcohol in the sorority house or something, so she has to hide it.
But the thing is that they're drinking already during the Christmas party, so I still don't understand.
Then again, if the best you can do is straight sherry,
well,
maybe you would want to hide that.
I was gonna say
to straight sherry
because all of the bottles are the same. So maybe she just has her special brand that she doesn't want anyone else to touch. So she hides it.
I guess you're gonna have booze
in
a college sorority house. Yeah, you're gonna have to hide your own booze if you want it. Yeah, that's fair. But I was just like, man, that's the best you can do. So Jess, British hussy, seems to be having relationship troubles with her boyfriend Peter, who's been awake practicing for days for something. Like he's been like up for like 4 days.
Yeah.
Anyway. So Mrs. Mack is brushing her teeth very theatrically with a sliding mirror medicine cabinet, which I'm waiting for like the killer reveal behind her.
That's
like,
what I was thinking too.
Like, shh. I'm waiting for that to come back, and it never does. No. Spoiler alert. So then she has booze in the toilet tank on a string. Now, where did she think it would float off to?
Well, my thing is, it is on the string, but it's like not in a plastic bag or anything. So literally when she takes off the cap and she's putting it in her mouth, that's still toilet water on there. There's still toilet water.
Leah, I hate to ask this, but how do you use the toilet? I mean, the water coming into the tank is clean.
I know, but still, it's still like...
And the lid's on the tank.
I know, but like I put cleaner on the back of my toilet.
Oh yeah, if you had like 3,000 flushes in there, yes, but I don't think she's got, let's assume it's just straight water.
And it's a sorority house. Can you imagine how dirty, like... I mean, I'm sure, I don't know.
How much sediment do you think's in there?
I don't know, but I was immediately like, no, at least put a baggie over.
But it's this drinking water just being pumped into the toilet tank.
I don't know. I don't like my water to touch anything porcelain, apparently. I don't know.
It's alcohol, it cleans itself.
That is true, but I was still just like, no.
I just love that it was on a string. Like, how deep is this toilet tank?
I didn't even think about.
And where do you think it's going to float off to?
I didn't even think about that. But
well, she'd hate for it to float to be flushed down the toilet. I'm just like, why is it on a string? It'd be one thing if it was like a cistern that was like a well, and you got to have the string to pull it up and know where it's at. But oh my gosh, I don't know. I love that she has it on a string. I think that's great. So yeah, she's my current favorite character, though I do enjoy the brass of Kidder, Barb. I really like her. So then we cut to the next day, and I'm just like, wait, what?
Yeah, what happened?
One kill?
And nobody...
That's it?
I mean, I understand, like, she went to bed and everything, but everybody's just like, do-do-do-do.
I thought this was going to be like an all-in-one-night movie. Like, I thought this was like, once the kills start, it's like... But then again,
boom.
It doesn't know what to do yet.
Yeah?
This is 1974. It does not know what to do yet.
Yeah.
So...
But I do think that it kind of adds into a creepiness layer, which we'll get into later on.
I guess. So then we got a bald dude waiting for someone. We find out his daughter is Claire. So this is Claire's dad. I just was like, bald dude?
I love how you just
going
call
on
him the
with
bald dude.
Well, that's his main character trait. Bald dude with glasses. I mean, and he's very, very not okay with the culture of the sorority house.
Yeah, he seems like he's a pretty straight cut type of guy.
Yeah.
Type of dad.
And then does he go to the fraternity house where the Santa is? Was he there? Because I love the fact that the college dude who's playing Santa is just swearing up a blue streak with the child on his lap. I'm like, this is Bad Santa before Bad Santa.
He does not care. Well, I mean, same thing with Barb. She's like feeding a child a drink.
Oh yeah, no.
Like she's like, sip on it, try it.
Right. Oh my gosh. Then we get the cat meowing again back at the house. It's like Jonesy and Alien. It's like, just leave the cat. Leave the cat. The cat's obviously fine.
Yeah.
I mean, the cat is not going to be in trouble. Like, what are you doing? But yeah, so then Mr. Harrison, Claire's dad, takes Mrs. Mack to the store as his daughter sits dead in a rocking chair with the plastic over her head. Man, that first time you see that, it's just like, whoa,
Yeah.
like that's pretty nuts. Like,
Now, I do have a question for you.
Yeah.
So, when I first saw it, there's two different scenes in the movie where I look at it and I'm like, that looks like it's a wax figurine.
okay.
And then other times it looks like it's her with a plastic bag over her head. Do you
interesting.
know? Like the last,
I don't know.
like the scene of it when you see it on the window, you know what I
Okay.
mean? Like the movies, the iconic image of it panning out and you kind of still see it from the
At the
house.
end?
Yeah.
Okay.
That looks like a wax figurine.
Okay. That's fair. I mean, I'd assumed it was kind of a dummy. That way you don't have to worry about the mouth accidentally moving or the plastic. Like, think about it. She'd have to hold her breath
Yeah,
for
oh,
that
yeah.
entire shot. And at that point, it's like, if you're going to have her be in the plastic bag for that whole time, you might as well have shot her getting strangled.
That's true.
But, however,
I didn't know if you knew. You
it
tend
also looked like the bag, like, stopped at the lips.
yeah.
Like, it was, like, kind of attached around the mouth. And then maybe like they put like some makeup on her lips to make it look like plastic over them, and
But
then
it
that
really
way they didn't have
wasn't.
to actually put plastic in her mouth or
That's
cover her
true.
mouth. It just looked kind of weird to me. Like I automatically assumed it was sucked into her mouth.
Yeah.
But it didn't look like plastic was inside
All
her
the
mouth,
way
if that
inside of her
makes
mouth.
sense. So I think
Which
that
would be a
was-
huge
'cause
hazard
if that's
for
what they
the
did,
actor.
that's pretty clever, and they could have just used her and then made her up to look pallid.
Okay. I didn't know if you knew that.
Because making a dummy would be expensive, especially one that would look as photorealistic as that one. Yeah, and either way, it's quite an image for 1974.
Oh,
I
yeah.
mean, Italian Giallos had it be
Oh, yeah.
like with Suspiria and stuff, but it's not bad for a low-budget American film at the time. I mean, we had The Exorcist and stuff at this point, but still. Anyway, so Jess is pregnant but wants an abortion. Peter wants the baby. Don't you think of anyone but yourself? Like,
And Ken,
wow.
I know, right? He's just not. I did not like his character, obviously, but I think that's the whole
No.
point. It's not like his character.
Right.
But I have in my notes automatically that he's just very ominous piano playing. Like everything that he is doing on the piano is weird.
Well, it reeks of like contemporary, like edgy, like arty piano.
Yeah, which I understand. And like, but him staying up for 4 days, I don't know how it works living in a conservatory and like being that dedicated of a pianist or
Right.
another orchestral player, but 14 days up or 4 days up all night playing the piano constantly.
Right. It
I
can't be
mean-
good for your performance.
No, and I guess that would put him on edge anyway. I mean, that would put anybody
I
on
feel
edge.
like he's already done it to himself. He's already stayed up way too many nights, not gotten anywhere near enough rest. He's absolutely in no mood at all to play his music
Yeah.
well. And then obviously this news doesn't help,
No.
but if anything, it would adrenalize you like, oh my gosh, and if you were tired before, now you're like, okay, we've set a date for 9 o'clock to talk more, and I'm going to work up the gumption to
Yeah.
like make my case as to why we should keep this baby, and that would actually help him like to get over the tiredness or whatever, and get through
Exactly.
his recital, or give him like a new passion to like play
Yeah.
his piano. Like, I am going to put all my anger and everything into this piece because it's a very angry piece of
It is.
music he gets around to playing. It's dissonant and it's whatever. I'm just like. But it sounds like he's hitting wrong notes, I guess.
Yeah,
It's like it's one of those things where it's like he's playing so avant-garde a piece anyway, it sounds like. How would you even know?
I couldn't tell if he was playing something good or bad, which again, I'm
You have
not
to
a
look at the
pianist.
judges,
but
though.
yeah, but like I was just like, sounds okay to me. But he's like
Yeah.
sweating, and you can tell he's looking at like he's getting angry with himself. Yeah, and then the judges are just like, which I would, as a judge, I would never, if somebody was doing something for me, I'd never just look at them and be like,
Yeah,
no.
it was the early 70s, though. They were not worried about his feelings.
No, yeah.
There's no way they were worried about his feelings. Plus, in the conservatory, it's like,
That is true.
it's do or die.
It's cutthroat,
Like, yeah,
so-
I mean, I've seen Center Stage. I've seen some of these,
I've seen Center Stage. I know what
these
happens.
movies where it's like just, cutthroat.
I've seen
you know.
Save the Last Dance. Come on. No, I'm just kidding.
I have. I didn't like it as well as a lot of other people did. It was fine. I don't know. Anyway, we'll talk further at 9 p.m. unless the lurker gets in the way. I was like, we'll see what the lurker has to say about this. Kidder is definitely not impressing Claire's dad.
No.
At all. I love it. It's great.
No.
Then we got Lurker calls again with a bunch of voices, and Jess gets the call. There's talk of a baby, and I'm getting shades of like Psycho.
Yeah.
Like Norman and Mother and stuff like that. I mean, it is creepy.
It's very creepy. And then, I mean, it also drew parallels because I was like, how would he know about? I immediately thought, how would he know about her baby?
Oh, right. Yeah, there's that. Yeah.
You know what I mean? I was
That's
like,
true.
how would he know? Which
didn't
then
even think about
immediately made me believe, because already Peter is just in my mind. I was like, it has to be him. It has to be him.
Yeah, I never got that thought. Mainly because I'm like, the timings just aren't working out. I mean, he does say he's like been up all night, things like that. So it's like, that's a lot to like piano. I gotta run up to the attic. Piano.
I gotta go kill a girl with a.
Yeah. I gotta go to the park. Step. Okay, piano. I'm just like, I don't know. It's one of those things where, timeline just wasn't working for me. In the end, I'm just like, okay, I guess this is what they want me to believe, so I guess I'll believe it.
I immediately believed it. I was just like,
no, I was like, I don't like this dude, but I don't get the vibe that he's like, Spelly, don't talk.
I did. There was something about his eyes. I feel like he was like, I don't know. I mean, I'm sure they made him
I was like,
be
I was
that
trying
way.
to look at him, just like, can I see like the light shining in his eye, like just to get that? Does he have the crazy eye? Does he have crazy eye? Like, I just couldn't quite tell. I thought he could go to crazy eye, but I'm just not sure. So Claire's dad finally goes to the police, and Kidder's brass still shining. Oh man, she really gives it to that front desk clerk.
So funny.
Oh my gosh,
You know, for a public servant, I think your attitude really sucks.
that guy has no clue. I'm like, how are you even a sergeant? Like,
And well, I mean, and later on, I feel like he is sort of the weakest link, and they make note of that. That police officer who she.
he never gets anything right.
No.
Like, John Saxon's going to kill you.
I feel like just she knew which was the weakest link, and she immediately started messing with that police officer. Barb does.
Which doesn't help their case, unfortunately.
No, it doesn't.
She pays for it in the end, of course.
Yes.
But anyway, I'm getting ahead of it. So the front door of the sorority house is having issues. Will that come back? Is my note. It will. So then Jess goes to see a guy, Chris, who's playing goalie with an awesome hockey mask.
Yeah.
To tell him Claire's missing. I guess it's Claire's boyfriend?
Yes, I assume so, which I have a note, so I'll get to that later on.
Okay. And then Chris shows up at the police station to chew them out, and his fur coat is amazing.
Nash, you stupid son of a...
Yes, it
On a
is.
scale of 1 to 10, it's an 11.
It's a Macklemore.
It is
It
fantastic. And he didn't hit the thrift shop. You can tell that baby is new.
Yeah, that is some mink of, or I don't know if it's
Grade
mink,
A. So now John Saxon is on the case.
but yes.
If you want a police officer handling your case, it is John Saxon, because he's great. So then Barb expounds on animal intercourse for about an hour for Claire's dad, before saying everyone will blame her if Claire shows up dead. That was kind of a weird seg.
I do have a question.
Yes.
So between those two, because I have in my notes the 13-year-old is missing and the mom is talking in the police station about her 13-year-old daughter missing.
Yeah, I kind of let that pass by me because I figured it was just a whole bunch of stuff was going to go on. And I assumed that it was going to be like, that's one thing that's going to keep them, like there's a missing girl, so that's going to keep their case from being like a priority, and that's going to make more people be dead because the police have to look out for the 13-year-old girl.
But the police weren't even doing anything about the 13-year-old girl missing. They were like, she's 13. Does she always come home at that time? Oh, she's out with her friends. Like, they just seemed
this
so
is the 70s.
nonchalant.
Even in the 80s, I was learning all over the place. You know?
Yeah. I mean, I know that's true, but I was immediately like, okay, but the mom is freaking out, and like they're not even trying to calm her down. The police are just like, no, you're wrong.
This is still the age of if a woman gets hysterical, you slap her. I mean,
that is true. That is true. I'm putting on
kinda
today's
shocked that didn't
topics
happen.
with.
I mean, no. But I mean, this movie is like surprisingly progressive in so many other ways.
No,
where
it
I'm just
definitely
like,
is.
Holy cow!
It definitely is. But
yeah,
it
was kind of weird when you think about it. Like, I didn't get the 13-year-old thing. I just didn't pay much attention to that one.
I made note of that because I was like, why would they be filmed? Like, why would they concentrate on this mom being like, there's a 13-year-old girl, like my daughter's missing, she's missing, and she was coming back from band practice or whatever she said.
Okay, I kind of remember that now.
Yeah,
it
and
just
I
didn't
was
really hit me because I'm invested in Margot Kidder's insanity and telling her the name of the phone exchange. That is, it's just.
It's a new exchange, FE.
It's a new one on me. How do you spell it?
Capital F, Latio.
Thanks.
It's so good. I'm just like, is he really just like buying this, or does he actually not get it, or is he pretending not to get it?
Yeah.
Is he just like, I'm just gonna entertain you because you're just trying to be funny. I'll make you look good in front of your friend. Like I was just
he
like,
literally
he really does not get it.
Does not understand. He does not understand.
I mean, it was a while before the internet. I mean, so
It's true.
fair enough, dude. I guess, but you think at the academy or college or something, he would have heard somebody talking about something anytime. Just overhearing something, but oh well.
That's
anyway.
true. And then I did feel bad for Barb, because when they were eating, which is before Peter's rage piano, which is what I have.
Okay.
Or no. I think it's actually a little bit later on. So I'll let you go ahead and continue.
Well, but I mean, because she talks about how like, because she said, I don't know what, I'm trying to remember what she said, like you can't rape a townie or something like that, and that seemed to upset Claire, which I wasn't sure. I was like, I didn't have time to go back, so I was like, because we had to do this review, but it was one of those things where I was like, I didn't understand why Claire got upset and went upstairs, and that she kind of huffed off.
I think it did bother her a little bit, but she said
But
goodbye to
that
her.
was a comment about her. I didn't get that she was a townie or that she was. But then she's like, she's as virgin or whatever. So they're making fun of her supposed virginity.
Which I thought was another big thing. So I was like, oh, she's safe in the beginning.
No, right? Yeah.
Yeah,
It's
because
like,
they were like, oh, she hardly ever
So I was gonna get to
drinks.
the end, like they do the reverse trope thing.
Yeah, she hardly ever drinks. She's such a good girl. Like,
Right.
she gave her boyfriend a kiss goodnight and sent him away
Right.
before she went upstairs at a sorority house party. Like,
Right.
one of those things. And yeah, within the first, 5-10 minutes, it's like, bye, Claire.
I know. So that's where I wasn't clear on like why Kiddo was blaming herself. I guess she said a comment that upset her, either the fact that she said like the word rape or something, or was it directed at her?
I think it was directed at Claire for being like, I think she called her like, oh, you're so virginal. Or she said something about her being so virginal and pure. And like, she doesn't have fun. She takes things too seriously. Because later on, Barb even says, well, you guys are just, if she comes up dead, you're going to say it's my fault.
That's what I mean. And that's why I was like, okay, it's your fault because you said something that made her upset. I just wasn't sure what she'd said to make her so upset.
Yeah, I think it was that. It was something along those lines of.
Like, Claire must have said something, and then she's like, oh, you can't rape a townie. And that was like something where she was just dismissing what Claire was saying, but Claire's concern. And so that upset her, I guess.
Because we didn't mention that, because someone in the very beginning, they were talking about how someone had gotten raped.
Okay.
So
yeah.
that's what they're thinking, that maybe the caller is this person who is going to, I don't know.
Assault them or something. along those lines.
Yeah.
So then Peter destroys the piano, and I don't think that's his piano.
No, which yet again, I was like, oh, he has rage issues.
Right, but then
Like-
I was like, it's too obvious, and his MO's not matching. Like he's using a microphone stand to bash this thing in or something. And I'm like, he's not a bludgeoner.
But see, my thing was, I was thinking that maybe the caller, I mean, obviously the caller has some sort of split personality or something is going on. So I was like, maybe he just like, I'm perfect, whatever. I'm perfect Peter playing a piano. I'm raging out on this piano.
Did you hear him playing? He was raging his piano.
That is
like,
true.
He wasn't playing like Claire de Lune or something like that.
That is true.
I mean,
Some classical Beethoven for you.
I mean, I thought he should just take his sports coat and burn it and call it a day, because that thing was used car salesman level sport coat. Holy cow, you wear that to the recital? I'd give you an F2.
I mean, he's no Claire's boyfriend, that's for sure.
No, I mean, yeah, the fur coat. Wear the fur
I
coat,
know.
something, or like a black coat, a tuxedo, maybe. Like get some penguin on, like.
Well, that was another reason why I felt like he, not humble. That makes me sound bleh. But like, it seemed like that he wasn't as fancy as everyone else. So I was thinking maybe there's like a little thing between there, like.
It's like maybe he's like a scholarship kid or something.
Yeah,
like
maybe he's upset because he lives. He was kept talking about his little small room. Like, I've got just a small studio room.
He has to wait in line to take a bath. A bath. He has to wait in line. Can you believe it? I'm like, what college student is taking a bath? I mean, come on.
Like a shared bathtub. Like they're all like in the same, you know.
Like, really? You want to sit in that?
But
Like,
that's where
your
I was
athlete's
like,
butt.
maybe
I mean, geez.
athlete's butt. I was like, maybe that's why. Like, maybe all these people, they're living in a sorority house, which is usually more money.
Kinda.
Maybe that's a reason why. I don't know.
Yes.
Again,
Yeah.
I think I just don't like Peter.
No, Peter's not good.
Down with Peter.
Down with Peter. I'm down with being down with Peter, yeah. So everyone, including Phil, leave Mrs. Mack and Barb at the house with the lurker. Max says she's leaving, so she might not be there when they return. Gee, that's convenient for the lurker.
Yeah.
It's kind of like a different take on the I'll be right back. It's the, hey, I might be gone when you get back, so don't worry about me. Yeah. Now that we have everything from dogs to snowmobiles, searching the park for Janice. Not Claire? And her dad's there?
Yeah.
I was so confused, because then later they say that we were out searching for Claire, but they were searching for the girl.
Maybe it was because she was a 13-year-old girl. Maybe there's a difference since Claire was a sorority, so like her being gone for one day isn't as big of a deal as a 13-year-old girl
So is this
being
like a
gone for multiple
do-gooder
hours.
sorority, like, well, we'll help search for the girl, and hopefully maybe we'll find something about Claire too?
Maybe,
Like,
because it says that it's by the park near the sorority house. So maybe they're thinking like, we're searching for this girl, but if there's any other clues, maybe they're connected. Maybe we find the girl, we'll find Claire too. So pulling together resources.
Sure why like they all were there, including the dad. I guess the dad, maybe I'd want something to do, like if I, yeah.
Yeah, or else maybe like just because the whole police force focuses on one thing at a time there.
I guess that they basically they'll treat them like, yeah, we'll all go at the same time, and I guess Fur Coat Guy got them to care about all the cases by like. The assassin's like, wait, there's a missing 13-year-old, and now like a missing sorority girl, and we're not doing anything about this. Like,
I feel like he just like walked in like, this is what we're gonna do, and then walks out. He
full Macklemore. He walked in there and was just like, yeah, and calls him by his first name. I'm just like, this dude is awesome.
But that's where I thought the fur coat signified a lot of money. So like maybe he knows
he's like a he's like
he
a
knows the
town
police
muckety-muck or something
officers.
like
He
that.
knows the police
Okay.
officers by name. I feel like he's like one of those, golden boy, wealthy parents, knows the town, knows everything.
I mean, goalie's an expensive position to buy all those pads, but then again, he wasn't wearing a ton of them, so I don't know. But anyway, regardless of how weird this police thing was, John Saxon's still the man. So I'm happy to report this far in the movie, John Saxon's still the man.
He does his job very well.
Yes, he
he's
does.
the only one.
Absolutely. So now the lurker's outside the house now? Again?
Yeah.
Question mark?
I kept on noticing that too. I feel like every single shot of the outside house, including in the beginning, you see the lurker. You see the whatever, the phone caller, the killer, the whatever you want to call it. You see him.
Right.
So I thought that was interesting.
Yeah.
But it's like a black shadow. And I was like, ooh, the shape.
Right? Yeah, no. So then we see the cat licking the plastics, as cats are wont to do. Like, my cats love licking plastic bags. So it's like, oh my gosh, that's my cat. Totally would do that. That's crazy.
Thinking you're okay and
Even on
playing
dead body,
with it.
just like licking the plastic bag on my face. Like, all right. So Mrs. Mack, of course, goes looking. I mean, geez, everyone's last words are going to be Claude.
Claude? Claude?
I know.
Claude, is that you?
I will say that cat is well loved because everybody just wants to find the cat.
I mean, Mrs. Mack is not happy about Claude, but everyone wants Claude to be safe and found. And again, it's like Jonesy from Alien. I'm just like, leave the cat. The cat's fine. Anyway, so what in the world is Lurker holding in the attic? I couldn't tell at first, and it's like, a hook.
Yeah.
Interesting.
And what's that doing up in the attic? Just like a random hook to hold things.
Well, I mean, if you notice, the going up to the attic is basically just a straight ladder with the hole, and I'm thinking maybe the hook is there to help them haul up things.
Maybe.
Which I'm like, that's actually kind of a clever thing to have, is like a pulley rope system.
That is true,
to,
because
pull up heavy stuff to store in
and
the
it looks
attic.
like he's pulling tension on it too. When you see the hands holding the hook, it's like he's using all of his strength
I
to
thought it was like, I'm crazy.
Maybe.
I'm so crazy. I'm gonna do it.
Maybe.
I'm gonna do it.
But that's when we get the second kill.
Right.
Which you still don't really see.
Right, yeah, you hear the thunk.
You
and
hear
then
it.
you hear her gurgling or whatever, which I'm just like, I just had the image of the hook going in the mouth and through the roof of the mouth or something, and I'm like.
And then you see her legs just go up in the attic, which would make sense because I have in my notes how in the heck does he pull her up there just so quick?
Pulley system, yeah.
But
that
yeah,
was great.
pulley system with the hook,
Yeah.
so that makes sense.
So I'm surprised the hook's not used more often, other than I Know What You Did Last Summer. That was a pretty cool, interesting use of a tool there.
Yeah.
Mrs. Mack's taxi leaves, and Lurker goes a bit nuts and shoves things around, like he's upset about something.
Yeah, I don't really know what. I don't. Yeah.
He throws a hissy, and I just don't know what it's about. But anyway, they haven't found anything in the park. One searcher starts screaming, and it doesn't look good for Janice.
Yeah.
Unfortunately.
And they never really say exactly what happened to Janice, do they? It's alluded to that she's dead.
Yeah, and I don't necessarily get the idea. This doesn't fit this killer's MO, though, either. Just to leave the girl in the park?
I don't know.
He's a real, like, stager.
I have ideas, so I'll have to...
Okay. So let's see. So Jess gets the lurker again, who seems to want to be stopped. And he's talking in many voices again. He's like, please don't let me do it.
Yeah.
Please stop me or whatever. It's like, that's interesting. So then she makes a call as the lurker approaches from behind. And let's see. Okay, that's Peter.
Which again, what's he doing in the house? Oh, I was just upstairs sleeping in your bedroom.
Right.
But Mrs. Mack just got sucked up into the attic. Like, you didn't hear any of that? You didn't hear like the, which I guess
How did you not hear the dude screaming upstairs when he's on the phone? You think you'd hear it in your other ear of just like, wait, am I hearing double? Because there'd be a slight delay or something. Like
and then like him having his hissy fit up there.
Oh, yeah.
I'm just sleeping. But then again,
Claude? Is that you?
But then again, I guess he hadn't slept in 4 days or so. So maybe he was just passed out like completely.
Yeah, that's true. Micronap. Peter wants to quit the conservatory and get married. However, Jess doesn't want to give up on her dreams just because Peter has changed his plans. She doesn't want to marry Peter. Uh-oh.
Another question that I have in my notes.
Yes.
Why is everyone wearing a pinky ring
Oh, I didn't think about that.
in this movie?
What's wrong with the pinky ring?
I have my own personal things with pinky rings. I can't stand pinky rings. But
Why? They're awesome.
no, I don't know. I don't know why. I've always been that way. I'm always like, take off that darn. Kate and Leopold love Hugh Jackman, and I'm just like, it's ruined because you're wearing a stupid pinky ring, Hugh Jackman. I don't know why. I don't know. I don't know. But why is everyone wearing a pinky ring?
I've never felt a stronger urge to wear a pinky ring than I do right now.
I don't know why.
It's hilarious.
I'm just, and I even
Just so I
have
can be like,
just
hey, Leah.
wave it in
Hey,
my
Leah.
face. But I just don't understand, like, and then I didn't know if it was like a sorority thing, but even the men are wearing pinky rings. Is that a mid-70s?
It's gotta be a sorority ring thing.
And I know before, like back in the day, they would actually use it for their signature stamp in the wax to seal letters, and it was their like family
I bet
crest
it's a fraternity
or a symbol,
deal
but
or like a status symbol. Again, another reason to hate,
down with the pinky ring.
Fair enough.
Way too bougie.
Yeah, I hear you.
But anyway, sorry, that was just in my notes in all caps.
Another red flag. Peter's nothing but red flags.
Peter.
Yeah. Let's see. So
well, Jess is wearing a pinky ring too.
Oh, she was?
Yep, Jess. So is Barb. So that's why I was like, it has to be a sorority.
I'm not looking at
I immediately go to the
hands.
pinky ring because I'm like, get off there.
Lasers on the rings. I didn't notice hands. So then back at the police station, Saxon continues to prove that he's the man and that the officer at the front desk needs to ship up or ship out because he is pathetic. Jess is fantastic. I love how strong she is in the face of Peter. Like, she just like, get out and does not take any of his stuff. I love it.
She stands up for herself, definitely.
She is great. I really like her character a lot. So they're going to put a tap on the phone and have a man stationed in the car outside. She'll need to keep the lurker on the phone long enough for the information they need. I love that he basically is running through like this like call center,
call
like
grid.
just like wires everywhere, and he's literally following the call like all around. I'm just like, what are you looking at? Like, can you see it going through the wires? Like, it's craziness of like how he has to manually, like he says they got a manual process, and I'm like, yeah, you do. You're running through this center of like this like switchboards and stuff. Anyway.
And also, whenever someone says like, oh, the police car is out front, I immediately am just like, that police car's not going to do anything.
Well, I mean, we know that the killer's there, so that's where I thought it was like, I just love all the stuff like lock your doors and windows, all this stuff that basically does nothing for you because the killer's inside the house.
I have that. I'm like, you're locking yourself in with the killer.
So I didn't necessarily think that anything would have to be done to the police officer because the killer's already inside and he's not going anywhere, but he was outside earlier, so I'm just like, I don't understand the rules of what this killer's doing. So we see Peter hanging around outside, though.
Yet again.
Yes. And so the lurker has Claire's body holding a doll now as he sings a crazy lullaby. And then Jess waits for a call, and she hears Barb having an asthma attack, and we see the lurker had gone to her room, and we see glass figurines, which I'm like, ooh, are those going to come back later?
My thing too is that is not the type of room that I would have pictured for Barb. I would not have pictured Barb to have just a bunch of glass figurines by her bed and like her being kind of like it almost looked like a girly, like a glass unicorn figurine, a glass ballerina. I did not picture that to be her type of room,
I mean,
which
is it
goes
like a lost childhood sort of thing?
maybe, which is why I was which is why I was like, oh, so she must be pretty witty naturally. And like have that sort of bit of snark funk to her.
Or it's a defense mechanism. You think she would be the one that had the peace sign, naked people poster.
Exactly, and like she was
stuff.
reading a centerfold. But then I was just like, maybe that's just like her outward, what she does to people.
For other people, but actually inside, she's more like this glass figurine, like
Exactly.
Upset when her parents don't want to spend Christmas time with her. Like obviously, this is something where she's probably ignored a lot of her childhood or something.
Yeah. So But anyway.
So there's the kids sing carols with amazing harmonies. When they go into like the comedies and Connor harmonies, I'm just like, what is this? Like this is like you do not send these carols away. You tip them heavily because these kids are awesome. I was like, what? This movie does not deserve this choir.
I find that so funny that you say that because my notes, I'm just like. Send them away! What are you doing? What? But they are the harmony. I mean, it is beautiful.
It is gorgeous. Usually, kids, it's like off key or something like that. These kids are like pros.
But people are going missing. There was a murdered 13-year-old. Why are these kids walking around caroling?
But at least then the mom comes in, or the lady comes in, and is just like, get these kids out of here. There's a dead 13-year-old. Why do we have these kids out here?
Like, which is true. But I was just like, you go, mom. That's exactly what I was thinking this entire time.
But the lurker, Billy, calls Barb Agnes and kills her with the unicorn figurine. And he says, don't tell them what we did. And I'm like, what is this about?
Yeah.
Because then later it sounds like he maybe killed baby Agnes. But I'm like, was it like a V.C. Andrews Flowers in the Attic situation? And then he killed her? Or what's going on?
I don't know. Yeah. I have my own. I think Agnes and the baby are two completely different things, are two completely different people.
Huh.
I think it was like
baby Agnes.
I think it was 3.
But they said baby Agnes, right?
But I mean, he also says random things too. Like he like jumbles himself up.
But I don't feel like it's so much as regarding that though. He throws in other random things like pig stuff or whatever.
Yeah, that's true.
Like he throws in random like insults. Or things like that, almost like a Tourette style thing of where he randomly like just throws out these things. But then when he talks about Billy and Agnes, it feels relatively consistent. And he only adds like more detail as things go on. Maybe
because at first I was thinking whenever he spoke of Agnes, I always thought of her not as a baby. I thought of her as older until he started saying baby Agnes, and I was like, well, maybe he's like separating the two. Like maybe there was. I don't know. I mean,
he's obviously dissociative, so I don't know if he's trying to like disassociate like what he did from what he thinks he did or what he would rather he did. I don't know. But anyway, the phone rings again. Caller talks about the usual stuff until they say some things that Peter had said earlier, and so.
Which again.
But Peter was inside the house too. Anyway.
I know, but that's true. But.
Just like having a wart removed.
That's what the killer says. And I was just like, it's Peter. I immediately said it's Peter, which the characters also came to that same conclusion, which is where we get Jess and Phil walking down and speaking about, is it Peter? How come you didn't tell the police? That sort of thing.
Yeah, because Peter calls, he's upset about the baby. Mm-hmm. And I think, at first I was like, is this the killer trying to sound like Peter? Because obviously this killer has some crazy voice talent.
Yeah.
So that's why I was wondering if it was like just not trying to talk like Peter. And then he'd pull like a cat thing, so now I don't have to meow. I can actually just sound like your boyfriend and get you to come over to where I am or whatever.
But that's also when they come to the conclusion that Peter was there the first time of the phone call, so it couldn't have been him, right? And mind you, I hadn't watched this movie before, but when they were setting up the wiretap, they mentioned Mrs. Mack's phone.
Separate line.
Yes. That's a separate line, and he was just like, "Oh, it's a separate line, so we don't need to bother with that one," which I thought was weird. First of all.
What do you mean? How is it weird? Because the killer's calling the sorority line, not Mrs. Mack's line.
I know, but then you know what? I don't know. I just thought it
would have made the movie be too quick. It'd been over too quick. Like, wait, Mrs. Mack's line's operating. Why is why is it bringing out?
But
or
that is
whatever.
true. But I was just like, And since they also said that, I was like, red flag. This is something
Right.
take note of.
Oh, but these police are in no way thorough. Like, girl's
No.
missing, we'll check her room, and that's it.
Yeah.
Like, we're not going to explore anywhere else in the house, and that's where at the end it drives me crazy, but we'll get there.
And they also don't even like check on Barb, which we find out Barb is still alive at that point. But like they just
Right.
don't check. He was just like, oh, she's sleeping.
Yeah,
Oh, she
whatever,
needs to
yeah.
sleep that one off. Like,
Yeah, which I like that he's not upset with her. Like, he gets, like, you know, I kind of get the idea of Barb, how she was at the police station.
Yeah.
Like, she probably needed to sleep off whatever was going on, which I appreciate that he was like kind, had a kind, because he had a smile on his face. Like,
Yes.
He could have been really upset with her because she was being very unprofessional at the police station. And
But he
being a fool of his
wasn't,
officer. But he was
yeah.
like, that guy deserved it.
Yeah,
Like,
yeah.
Yeah. Which, again, John Saxon, #legend. He's awesome. So the entire campus was in search. They go house to house. Search party shows up. Jess and Phil laugh them off. And Phil says, I'd rather face the killer. And I'm like, well, you'll get your chance, I'm sure. But
I didn't understand why. Were those like, was that supposed to signify that those two men were like flirting with them? Because I didn't catch that vibe.
Like, our dog just died? Like, is that slang? Like,
I
is
don't-
that 74 slang for something? 'Cause
Yeah.
The dudes are chuckling, and I'm just like,
I
is
don't.
that some kind of innuendo? Or
That's what I mean. I don't know.
But basically, in the end, they insist on them locking the doors and windows. And Hussey, Jess's character, is just like, you realize that this is the only door that's locked right now. And I'm just like, great, guys.
Yeah.
What are you doing?
Yeah, like obviously there's a killer on the loose and you don't.
Yeah, and this is where, like, the crazy locking mechanisms of these doors, I'm just like, did she just click something on the outside of the door, close it, like, that's going to lock, like, it locked from the outside? What?
I don't know.
What?
I don't know.
It's crazy. I mean, it'd be one thing if they're like, okay, so this one you gotta like turn it the outside 4 times, then the inside you turn this many times, then push the lock, and then it'll work. Or something, like something crazy where it's like the door's messed up and you have to like turn it in the front to lock it and then close the door. Because I think my grandparents had a door that was like that, where you had to turn the knob
In order
then
to-
lock it. Like, it wasn't even like you pop it in and turn it.
Yeah.
You had to turn the knob, turn the little thing, and then it locked.
and then it locked. I've
Yeah.
seen some of those trying to.
So I wonder if it was something like
Yeah.
that, where she had to turn the outside knob to then lock it on the inside. That's all I can hope, because it just looked like you're locking it on the outside.
It was very weird. It was very
It's
weird.
like the lock in Halloween with the laundry room, where it's like, what?
How?
I don't know. It was just really weird. Anyway, so then John Saxon finds the busted up piano. Jess locks the doors. We get another call, and that's where we find the calls are coming from inside the house. Oh, it's so great.
Dun dun dun.
Yeah, the police officer's sign's been killed. His throat's been slashed, which I'm just like, when did the killer do that? That's where I was like, what if Peter did that? Because then he's gonna go, like, that would have been really cool, I thought, to like have it be where it's like he's not a red herring, but he's also murdered people, a person. Like, what if he is a murderer, just not the
murderer? It could
Like-
be.
Like, that would have been wild, wouldn't it? Like,
Well, because it was funny. Well, Peter was outside, and Peter was like trying to go through and see the windows and all that
he's
stuff.
hanging out outside, and the cop would have kept him possibly from going up to the house. He'd been questioned.
That is true. I didn't
that's where
think
I
of
was
that.
Like, that would have been amazing. Like, if they had Peter like kill the cop. Obviously, he's a bad guy. He's just murdered someone, but he's
That's
not
true.
the murderer we started with. And I'm just like, that would have really ratcheted up the tension when he's outside the basement. Because then
That's
it
true.
would have been even more like, oh my gosh, like we just saw him kill the cop. Like,
Yeah, and I mean, even when like, so Jess ends up going downstairs because she knows the killer's in the house.
Right, and well, actually, she goes up, she finds the bodies.
Yes.
Well, actually, hold on. So yeah, she finds it out. She finds out the cop's been killed, and then Nash, the sergeant, who basically Saxon told the front desk guy to call her, don't mess this up or he'll kill him. It was like, yes, Saxon.
Tell
and so
her to just walk
yes,
out of
don't
the
tell,
house.
Don't tell her about the killer, like being in the house. Like,
Yep.
Tell her to just put down the phone and leave, and she won't. And so he's just like, look.
Yes, the caller is in the house.
The calls are coming from the house.
And then she doesn't hang up or anything. She's like, and he's like, "Don't do it. Don't go upstairs." He is all of us. Like, Nash is all of us.
Yes,
at
that
this
is
point.
true.
I
That
love
is
it. It's
true.
just, he's the
But
Greek
of
chorus.
course, she's going. Well, she doesn't even really go all the way upstairs at first, right? She just walks up the stairs,
Yeah.
and then she backs
Oh.
up to the door, and she starts yelling their names.
Oh, the award show clip.
Phil! Bob! Please answer me! Please answer me!
Please answer me. Like the hand out. I'm just like, Oscar, for your consideration, Olivia Hussey. with that, just the hand, the histrionics.
She was
It was
channeling.
so great. It was
She was channeling Juliet then.
Oh, it's just the
Romeo.
alas poor Yorick. Like, just very Wagnerian theatrics. It was just great. I mean, fantastic. She grabs the fireplace poker. Good girl.
Yes.
She breaks down Barb's door. She finds Barb's and Phil dead, and the front door is stuck.
And they're staged, which I thought was a weird staging of them.
They're
also,
just mushed together in the bed.
yeah,
It's
but they're like, and also funny yet again because I love looking for these things. Funny kill or dead acting, I guess, because both of them are just like it's just the
Right.
funniest faces in the entire.
I just got the idea they were just laying there. It was kind of like, what happened to Phil? Did she get the unicorn, or did she get something else?
Yeah,
Like, what happened there?
And also, when the killer goes to get Phil, the door, I don't like fishing line must be a big thing because she just walks in and then it's just
in the room. Was he behind the door? Like,
which maybe because that's where
I think he was behind the door.
maybe, but
I
it's
think.
just the door's so like seamless. They must have sped up time or something because it's just
Something.
and no scream, no
didn't have any time to
nothing.
do anything,
Yeah,
yeah.
just. Boop. But then when you see them laying with each other, it looks like there's like blood smeared all over them, which is.
I mean, you had
it's funny.
$5.
It's, yeah,
I mean,
it's funny.
what are you
I
gonna
know
do?
it's not like the killer did it, but I was just like, that's the funny dead actor
Right.
clip
Exactly.
right there.
So she runs upstairs. Front door's stuck. She gets her hair grabbed, but she gets away, gets into the
Mm-hmm.
basement, locks the door. Then Peter shows up at the basement window, and he breaks it to get in the basement and approaches Jess. And then she starts screaming.
Well, it's another because she thinks it's him.
Well, she couldn't tell. Like, I mean, she was just like, she didn't say anything to him, though.
No.
She just keeps walking towards her, just Terminator style, just not stopping.
And I think it's weird that he breaks the basement window. I don't know like why that disturbed me so much, but I feel like he's like, Jess, is that you? Is that you? Dude, if she's not talking to you or she doesn't want to say anything to you, why are you breaking the window and going in there and then like creepily still moving? There's something creepy about Peter.
Peter ain't right.
Yeah, like something is still going on with Peter. I think
And that's where he should have had a knife. We see him walking up towards the police car. Then later we see the slash throat. And then he shows up at the window, and you're just like, oh no,
missed opportunity.
Jess, girl, get out of there.
Missed opportunity, definitely.
I think that would have really been like, he's not the one you want, because the other guy's killed more people at this point. But obviously you have to stop him. And so the fact that she does manage to kill him somehow at that close a range with that poker, I couldn't quite tell because it looked like for a second they're both dead.
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
I was like, oh no, did he murder suicide them? Like,
which is something else kind of strange. So since we're already there,
they drug Jess and then everyone just leaves her.
No, well before that, when they find her that she's still alive.
Yes.
So did the killer kill Peter and her, or kill Peter and think that he killed her? Or did she kill Peter with the fire poker, thinking that
she killed Peter because they said that she killed him.
Oh, I missed that completely then.
Yeah, they said like, I couldn't believe she managed to kill him. Like, I never would have thought that she had it in her or something like that to kill anyone, let alone Peter.
That makes total sense to me now because I must have missed that.
I just don't understand why she was like passed out like she was dead, like other than just the fact that it like shocks the audience. Like,
I was about to say maybe she went into shock or maybe she was just like, oh my goodness.
I could think of reasons, but it was just kind of weird of just like, oh my gosh, did he kill her and then killed himself? Like, that's really dark. Holy cow.
Why would you drug her? Because obviously she wasn't having like an adrenaline pump. Why would you drug her again if she was already in shock and kind of like, oh.
Well, again, you want her to. Maybe they thought that she'd be hysterical if they didn't or something.
Maybe. It is a movie.
Yeah, they drug her. So, but then the killer's still there. They didn't search the whole house top to bottom. Like, how do you not like? There have been multiple murders. Why are you not? I don't care how close a case you think. You look at every single square inch of that house.
My thing too is even if she, even though she killed Peter and everything, why would you still leave a girl alone? In the house,
said she was going to stay with them, but then Claire's dad, like kind of passes out, and they're like, "We'll take you to the hospital." Because someone said they were going to sit with her.
Why did he pass out? He just like man down.
I think he's basically like Claire's still missing. Which
Obviously.
Wait, you didn't go in the attic? You didn't go in the attic?
You didn't keep on searching for your daughter, like
you didn't like search every nook and cranny of the house. Like you're thinking she might get her boyfriends. Why don't you think? Should we check the attic?
Yeah.
I mean, it's the one room in the house we haven't looked in.
I don't know, but even still, even if even if the doctor said that he was going to stay with her, and they all left because he fainted or whatever, man down. I feel like I would be like, okay, police officer, you stay with her. Now, mind you, when they panned out, there was a police officer, I believe, at the front of the house.
Yes, the front door.
Why wouldn't he be inside? I just don't.
Propriety.
I just don't understand why they would leave. Because like, if Jess woke up after being drugged and she was in the house by herself, I would have freaked out.
Yeah, you'd want her to. She'd want to be somewhere else. Like, nowadays they'd take her to like a hospital or something,
yeah,
like to be observed and make sure she's not in shock or like things like that, and to be able to have like a psychiatrist or somebody to be able to talk to her about like
something,
feeling,
yeah,
like, things like that, to process stuff that's happened. And so the police knew where she was for questioning, but she was comfortable at least and not like on a chair at a police station. But yeah, that's just nuts.
Yeah.
And then Claire seems really darn visible through that attic window.
Agreed.
I mean, granted, it's high up, but still. And then the phone rings again as credits roll, which I'm just like...
Now, I have a couple of things.
Yes.
So when the phone rings, so the police officer tried to get into the door, because I thought I saw it, and I even tried to rewind it.
He walked towards the door.
I thought he tried, and he couldn't. And I was
it's that
oh.
front door again. Front door strikes again.
Yeah, but I thought the front door, I guess you're right. For some reason, I was thinking the front door, didn't fully lock, so it should have been easier for him to get in. But I guess Jess couldn't get out
she locked
when
all the
she
doors
tried.
and windows,
Yeah,
so...
that makes sense.
No, it doesn't, because this police department sucks.
That is true.
It doesn't cost you anything. Go up the attic stairs and see what's shaking up there.
That is true.
Now, it would be what if they did that? They hauled down Mrs. Mack, they hauled down Claire, and they take the bodies away. Because they said so many bodies, I'm like, oh gosh, they found everybody. That's where I thought they just found everybody, because they're like, you got to take them to another hospital outside of another town, because they can't handle this many bodies at one point. I'm like, okay, so they must have found the other girls, and Mrs. Mack, or the girl and Mrs. Mack. And that would have been something where it's like, okay, so I now understand why the dad passed out, because it's like your dead daughter was found and taken away, and she was there the whole time, and I'd be just catatonic practically. So yeah, of course that would make a whole lot more sense if his daughter had just been hauled away in a body bag, and okay, yes, and the guy still could have been hiding behind that curtain thing because he wasn't in the attic.
Yeah, and also was that a random sliding door
I have no idea what that was. It was just a shower curtain to a hall closet, maybe where they keep the towels.
No, I thought it was a dry cleaner bag.
Well, no, it was like a.
And then there was a cutout.
Curtain.
Oh, for some reason I thought there was
a curtain that was over a small little alcove or something.
I don't know.
Maybe a little storage closet or something that was at the end of the hall kind of thing.
But I do have a question though that I feel like it was passed over.
Okay.
So at the very end, the police mention Phil's boyfriend.
Okay.
She didn't have a boyfriend. She was walking around with Claire's boyfriend the entire time. She goes to Claire's boyfriend, and that's who the heck is Phil's boyfriend? So then I was thinking...
Maybe there's a guy at the beginning or something?
Well, then I was thinking, what if Phil's boyfriend's the killer?
I don't think so.
I don't know, but I was just like, that was a weird mention. It was a little weird. So I have it in my notes because I was like, or maybe she was with Claire's boyfriend? Maybe it was to show that the police didn't even realize what was going on. They paid no attention to Claire's death. So they were just putting people together because she was with him the whole time.
Or Phil has a boyfriend? She strikes me as she's the single friend.
Maybe.
She gave off serious single friend vibes.
I don't know.
But
my last thoughts was, okay, so there's a psychopath that's killing people.
Right.
This movie did not tie it up into a pretty little package.
No, I'm like, ooh, sequel.
Yeah.
But this is 74. Godfather Part 2, it either just came out or was, the whole sequel thing. It wasn't Rocky, 8 hadn't happened yet.
Love Rocky.
So,
But I was just like, okay, so pretty much this movie was just a glimpse into this little segment of this killer's life and the end. It didn't talk about why was Mrs. Mack and Claire staged upstairs, but the other two were still downstairs. Why didn't he stage them up there in a rocking chair?
Wasn't it worse to not know why, not understand?
No.
The killer's still loose?
Totally. It adds to that, kind of uneasy factor when it ends. But still, I was, hoping for more. I was hoping to know. But then again, like I said, maybe
now we've spun all these yarns together about this that the movie doesn't even go into, and it's it kind of did its job.
Yeah,
we're talking about it.
That is true.
We want to know more, and it's not because how dissatisfying is it when we finally find the answers? If they did do a sequel where it's here's exactly what happened with Billy and Agnes, and here's the story, and it's really? That's it?
That is true.
That's all you got?
But the entire time, like I said before, I was trying to spin this like or put these psychological just names on every single character. So like at the end I was just like, so I don't know what is he? Like what's going on with him?
I mean,
so did he
he's got
like
problems,
leave did he
Leah.
leave an insane asylum and murder this like 13-year-old girl and then found his way to the sorority house and started making like creepy phone calls? How did he even know these people's phone numbers? Does he know how to use the phone book and like call people?
Everyone's name and numbers that was in the phone book at the time is 74. You just got to get the right exchange. FE. No.
But like I was just like there was no, I don't know, and I can't tell if it was for the better or for the worse. But I guess after your explanation, it is for the better, really.
I mean, you want to leave people
right.
wanting more, like, or wanting to know more, like more mysteries than not. Especially like if you want to have that ambiguous ending of just like, oh my gosh, the killer's still there. I mean, this was just at the forefront of all this. This was like, I mean, it took years to get it to where it was like a massive like smash hits of this stuff, but it was, I mean, 4 years before Halloween, 6 years or so before Friday the 13th.
Yeah, that is true.
It's one of those things where there's nothing really, I mean, some Italian giallos, sure, but in America, there wasn't a whole lot like this at the time. And so it's pretty cool. We got this little movie from the director of A Christmas Story. And I love that the final girl was not only not a virgin, but pregnant and wanting an abortion.
That is true.
Holy cow. Like, I mean, it's a shame that we have to go back to 74 for a take that refreshing. Like, we need that back. Now, I haven't seen the 2006 or 2019 reboots or remakes of this movie, but I haven't heard anything to recommend them. But feel free to put the 2019 one on hold.
I just did today, actually.
Cool.
I put the 2019 Black Friday on hold because I wanted to compare. Now that I've seen the original, I feel like I can compare now.
Cool.
Yeah.
Well, I'll look forward to hearing your thoughts on that sometime.
Be like me and put it on hold.
Absolutely. Be like Leah. So those are thoughts on Black Christmas. And now here is Clucifer with your hint for next week's festive movie.
Clucifer here. Your clue for the next film is finish clause.
Thanks, Clucifer. So let us know what you think the next movie is that we'll cover in the comments. For Library Grindhouse, I'm Jesse.
And I'm Leah, and I think I hear my landline ringing, so I'm going to go check on that. Bye.